stations this evening for the East Coast Reflector TechNet. Number 622. Another couple, and we'll be up to 12 years. Now, we mentioned that last week. Kevin will be along, KE7K. Roger's here, KO4QMM. Vicky, KE8BKY, is on the log tonight. As always, out with our team members and see if they have anything to report. And we see if we have any silent keys, which we do. We have 3 of them that I'm aware of. And Joe is here, KD2TFB, for the Celebrity of the Week. Then we see if we have any new users to this net. After we get to that, we go to stations with amateur radio related questions. And after we get through the questions, if I don't forget to send it up to my good friend Kevin, VE3BZ, in Victoria Harbour, Ontario, he will tell us if he has anything for our swap and shop this week. That being said, I do have one announcement here. Our question tonight: are you planning on working POTA this summer? Are you planning on working POTA this summer? And, the ECR is doing a POTA presentation in our Zoom room featuring Matt, K2EAG, on May 29th at 8 o'clock. That's a week from tomorrow night. We'll be publishing it, publicizing it here over the next week. But we thought it might be fitting tonight to get everything lined up. So it's going to be a great presentation. May 29th, 8 o'clock in the East Coast Reflector Zoom room. And of course, everything we do here is East Coast time. Anyway, let's move along here. How about any team members? Do any of our team members have anything that they would like to report tonight? This is K4KU. Well, good evening, Justin. Or Jason, rather.
Yeah, good evening, Dick, and everybody on the TechNet. This is Jason. I just wanted to say that we have the open mic net on Wednesday nights at 8 p.m. And if you'd love to learn how the East Coast Reflector works on the back end, go to bit.ly/ECR open mic and sign up for an evening with us. And it's a great way to learn what the net controllers do, how the logging works on the back end, and all the ins and outs of the East Coast Reflector. This is K4KU, back to net control.
Well, thank you, Jason. Thanks for mentioning that, and thanks for all you and Mark do for the Wednesday edition of the Open Mic Night. That's tomorrow. So come join us, everybody, at 8 o'clock. It's a lot of fun. I don't know who they have lined up, but they'll have a couple, maybe 2 or 3 net controllers lined up for tomorrow night. Become quite popular. Have a lot of fun. Next up tonight is our silent key page. And I see from our log, N07 Victor, November 07 Victor Stephen, is on our sheet, along with Michael, KQ4NPV, November Papa Victor, KQ4NPV. And I found out late this afternoon that one of our good friends from Grants Pass, Oregon, passed away, Harold, W2HR. Some of you that have been around here for a while or visit other systems certainly know Harold. Harold was a good friend of mine for quite a number of years. He hasn't been real active here on the East Coast Reflector for maybe 3 years, but he was a regular here on the East Coast Reflector TechNet. Certainly will be missed. I don't have any. He passed away last evening. So if we could just have a moment of silence for those 3. 7 Victor, KQ4NPV, and our good friend Harold, double get 2HR. Thank you, everybody. Next up, Joe just arrived in the Zoom room, 82F, or TFB rather, and he's going to with the Celebrity of the Week. Good evening, Joe.
Good evening, Dick, and everybody along the network. The aforementioned Matt, K2EAG, I love to do POTA with him and his wife, N3ARB Angela, so probably going to do a few with the gang there. Often also the PE, the Radio Association of Western New York, sometimes they do some POTA as well. So, as with many of the celebrity call signs of the week, the primary source of information was the English language Wikipedia, and is therefore subject to the Creative Commons Attribution Share-alike 4.0 license. Priscilla was born at Brooklyn Naval Hospital in Brooklyn, New York, on May 20, 1945, the daughter of Anne and U.S. Navy pilot James. Unfortunately, Priscilla was not even 1 year old when her father died in a plane crash on November 3rd. Her mother remarried 3 years later with U.S. Air Force Officer Paul. Priscilla had half-siblings Donald, Michelle, Jeffrey, plus twins Thomas and Timothy. Being an Air Force family meant she moved every few years, including Connecticut, New Mexico, Maine, Texas, but eventually moving to Wiesbaden, West Germany. It was here on September 13th, 1959, at the age of 14, where she met her future husband, who was also there for some time in the military. In 1967, they got married at the Las Vegas in an 8-minute ceremony. Following the reception, these newlyweds boarded a private jet and enjoyed a short honeymoon in Palm Springs. Well, what can be said? 9 months later, there was the birth of Lisa Marie. Big hint there. This week's Celebrity Call Sign of the Week is November Yankee 6, Yankee Oscar Sierra, or NY6YOS. And with that last name drop, you could probably get it belonged to Priscilla Presley, wife of Elvis. Kilo Delta 2 Tango Fox Bravo, back to net control.
Well, Joe, you never cease to amaze me. I never knew that. Thank you, Joe. Thanks for coming in here every week and doing the Celebrity of the Week. Moving along, how about new users that have never checked into this net before? We'd like to give you a chance to get up at the top of the net. So if you've never checked into this net before, please give us your call sign twice.
VK4 Delta Juliet Charlie, VK4 DJC, David Delta Alpha Victor India Delta.
Good evening, David, or whatever it is. In Australia, VK4DJC. Welcome to the East Coast Reflector TechNet, and our question tonight, planning on working this summer. I'm not sure if POTA's, I guess, yeah, you guys have POTA in the UK. I'm sure you do. Hi, David. Welcome.
Yes, thank you very much. Don't do POTA so much, but I do a lot of MCOMs, emergency communications, with WIFN over here in Australia. Back to you.
I'm sorry, David, we can't repeat that one more time for me, please?
Yes, okay then. I don't do POTA quite so much, although I do a fair bit of work, mainly with WICEN, W-I-C-E-N, WICEN, which would be the same as Aries over there in the US, emergency communications. Back to you, VK4 Delta Juliet Charlie.
All right, David, I see you're coming in through an Arizona link. That's connected up here. What else do I have tonight that's new users? If you've never checked this net before, this is your one and only chance. Good.
Hello, 9 Tango Juliet Sierra, K9 TJS, in and out.
I think that was K9 TJS. We don't in and out, but for new system users, was that K9 TJS? Is this Thomas in Margate, Florida?
Yes, it is. I won't do the in and out, Janet, but I will be out of the car in a couple minutes. I didn't want to miss anything important, sorry.
Well, thank you for being there. I understand you're hopping out. Looks like you've been on the system before, but never been in this net, Thomas, so thanks for being there. We got John, KJ0HN. Good evening, John, and are you planning on working POTA this summer? And welcome.
And thanks everybody on the net this evening. I will be working POTA this summer. I enjoy POTA. It's one of my favorite ham radio activities. Thanks a lot. Have a wonderful evening. It's great to know you're here. I've never heard the net here before, so good to be on. Thanks very much. KJ0HN.
I guess it depends on who you're connected to, and we've been here for, you mentioned earlier, 2 more weeks will be 12 years, so we've been here for a long time. You're connected to the East Coast Reflector. Looks like we got around 350, close to 400 connections here tonight, so should be a good net. Thanks for being there, John. Who else do I have? New stations to this net. If you've never checked into this net before, please give us your call sign.
Whiskey 5, my Germany hotel. Whiskey 5, my Gold Hotel, Martin, Edinburgh, Texas.
Good evening, Martin. W5MGH.
Hey, Thomas, when I was
East Coast Reflector.
I was working my...
Been on the system before, but never in the TechNet. Are you doing any POTA this summer?
Hey, I think somebody else transmitted at the same time. Oh, nothing to report. I just jump in and say hi to the net. I'm a new user on this kind of places. I hope that they can do something else for Edinburgh. Just let me know. I'll be here. Thank you very much. Tango Hotel.
I don't think they're listening on the same frequency. They were on before the net started. I don't think they heard us. Thank you for being there, Martin. Who else do I have new to this net? If you've never checked into this net before, your call sign twice. AJ9Y, Alpha Juliet 9 Yankee. Bob, looks like you're coming up red on my screen here, AJ9Y, so you have been in here before, and so I'll have to ask you to wait for the 9th call district down the road here in an hour or so. Bob, if you would, please. All good.
Kilo Echo 2, Foxtrot, Zulu, Alpha.
Yeah, we got you, John, but you're kind of noisy. You're going into Lancaster, New York. Kate, if you give us your call sign a couple times, please, maybe we can get you in here. I don't know if you can raise power or change your location, but you're very, very noisy.
KE2FZA, Kilo Echo 2, Foxtrot, Zulu, Alpha.
There you go, John in Buffalo. Good evening to you, John. Welcome to the East Coast Reflector TechNet. Are you planning on working POTA this summer? Is our question this evening?
So I'm a brand new ham, so I don't even know what POTA is, so I'm guessing that's a no. Back to net control.
Welcome. Welcome to the Amateur Radio Fraternity. A little homework assignment. Parks on the Air is what it stands for. Do a little research tonight and a little homework assignment. And like I said at the top of the net, we have a presentation coming up on May 29th, a week from tomorrow night at 8 o'clock in our East Coast Reflector Zoom room. And all about POTA, so you might want to stay tuned. Thanks for being here, John. Welcome. I'm in Eden, so I'm local to you. It's a worldwide net, but I just happen to be local to you here in Eden, south of you. Well, so you have new stations that have never to this net before.
Kilo Echo 2, Bravo, Delta Oscar. Kilo Echo 2, Bravo, Delta Oscar.
There's Richard. Good evening, KE2 BDO.
Good evening to y'all. This is Mike.
KE2 BDO.
Colorado Kilo.
Welcome, Richard. And are you planning on working POTA this?
Again, KF0SID. Mike in Denver. And I may have checked into this once before, but a repeater out here actually dropped in the middle of us talking with you guys one night. Thanks so much. Back to net.
Figure out how to log it and do all that business. But just bringing your radio along where you go when you go outside is always a good time. Back to you, KE2 video.
Richard, there was another station, and 7 came in and talked over you for a minute, but heard what you said. Thank you for being there. I heard everything except, are you planning on working POTA? I think you said just take a radio outside with you.
I have to look into it. I don't understand the logging process and how to register it. But I'll bring it out anyway and give it a shot.
KF0, Sierra India Victor. Kilo Foxtrot 0, Sierra India Victor. Mike in Inglewood, Colorado. POTA, I'm new but looking forward to some events like that. Back to net.
Mike, well, you're already in here. I have to ask you to call in with the zeros. You've been in we're looking for stations that have never been on this net before. You come up red on our screen, so you have that in here, Mike. So I'll ask you to call in to the zero call district. Who else do I have? New this net. Last call for new stations, then we'll get into stations with a technical question. Who else is new to this net? Never been in here before.
KJ5LHY, KJ5LHY.
Evening, Daniel. KJ5LHY, New Caney, Texas. How about you? Are you planning on working POTA this summer?
Yeah, I'm not sure what's all involved in that. I've only had the license for 1 week today, and if I can get involved in something like that, would be thrilled to.
2 connected to 62904.
Well, there's somebody with announcements. That's a no-no. Thanks, Daniel. And you're another good candidate. I'm glad we had this subject here tonight. So, a week from tomorrow night, 8 o'clock in the East Coast Reflector Zoom Room. That's East Coast time, 8 o'clock East Coast time. It would be, 7 o'clock for you there in Texas. So, come join us and maybe get some of your questions. If not, maybe you will get all of your questions answered. All right, let's go to stations with amateur radio related questions. If you have an amateur related question, this is the time to ask it. We'll field it and see if we can find you an answer. Call lines twice. This is B2JPQ.
I have a hammer question, but I'd like to check in. November 5.
The station on Angelo, the repeater on N5 UXT. We're looking for stations with an amateur related question. Do you have an amateur question that you'd like to ask tonight? But if you'd like to check in, we'll have to ask you to check in with the 5th call district.
Just want to check in when you asked for check-ins, and I guess the other station got in before I could.
Maybe you wanted to get in as never been on the net before. And what's the call, please? I know you're coming in on N5 UXT. What's your call sign, please?
Call sign is November 5, Oscar Zulu Golf. November 5, Oscar Zulu Golf.
Unfortunately, Joe, you've been on this net before, so I have to ask you to call in with the 5th call district, if you would, please, N5OZG. Right. Stations with amateur radio related questions. Your call sign twice, please. Your stations with an amateur radio related question. No questions? How can that be possible? Stations with an amateur radio related question. Come on, guys. Don't be shy.
Well, I'll pose one. This is KF0SIV, and I forgot I was on this net a couple weeks ago, and our local repeater dropped us, so I lost out on talking with you guys. But I've got a handheld Baofeng that I reset, added new stations in, and I cannot hear anymore. I can talk if I go into the regular mode, but if I go into channel mode or memory, it doesn't, I can see that something's coming from a repeater, but I can't hear anything. And I think it might be something with CTCSS mode set wrong, but any input on that or any thoughts on that?
Yeah, hi, Mike. Yeah, did you ask this question last week? I believe you asked this, somebody asked the same question last week. I don't know for sure if it was you, but yeah, that's what it sounds like. Sounds like when you're in the memory mode, you've got the CTCSS decode set, and you don't have, it's not the right PL for the channel that you're listening. So that's exactly what it is. Have to go into the memory mode and take the decode out of whatever channel that is.
Gotcha. It was me. What happened right when I asked that question, I went off the air because our local repeater went down. So I didn't realize that, and I just couldn't hear anything anymore for a while. So yeah, thank you. I'll check that. Appreciate that so much and your help. Love the net, and back to the net. Thanks so much.
Yeah, just go into your memory settings and take off the decode in your radio, and you should be all set. Who else do we have? Z6 tonight. Who else do we have? Stations with amateur radio related question. KK7OGC, KK7OGC.
NADHC, NADHC.
Hi, Jim. I got Jim in Taylor, Michigan, and I got Fred in Reno, KK7OGC. Good evening, Fred. What can we do for you tonight?
Waiting for the stations to disconnect. Anyway, KK7OGC, this is probably a question for David, but how do you change the blink lights, the blink frequency on the SA818 Sherry Pie thing? I didn't see anything in IAX.conf or in the template. I'm just curious. Sure, I can put a piece of tape over it, but it kind of defeats the ventilation purpose.
Well, let's see if David's here tonight. I've never played with the 818. I don't know. David, are you here tonight, K4FXC? Anybody help Fred out? On the blinking light on the 818. I guess we're not going to score one tonight, Fred. I guess we can't help you with that. Maybe David will be along. I haven't heard from him tonight, but perhaps he'll be along. Let me go to Jim in Taylor, Michigan, N8DHC. Good evening, Jim. And what can we do for you this evening?
Hey, very good. Hey, DHC, good evening to you, good evening to the net. I'm kind of wondering about making a Q section for a loop antenna. Q section is an unbalanced, usually. Is there a way to make something like a Q section using
Let's see if Charles is here tonight. And Jim, if you would turn off whatever you got an echo coming. If you turn the other radio or whatever you got off, it would be a lot easier to hear you. Charles, are you with us tonight? KC6UFM?
Yeah, good evening, Dick. Yes, I am. Yeah, I copied that he's looking for something with a Q section, but that was kind of, I got out of that with the interference in the background. Jim, could you maybe restate what you're looking for after you get something turned off there?
N8DHC. Can you repeat the question, please? Where'd you go, Jim? N8DHC. Jim, can you repeat the question first, please? Oh, you don't know what happened to Jim. I guess we'll have to move on. And it was something about a Q section, but it was hard to hear him with the echo. Move here, and I'll come back to him. Who else do I have? Stations with AM radio related question.
is my radio?
Well, we hear you now, Jim. Yeah, key up and ask your question again, please. Well, that's called, Jim. N8DHC, Jim. It sounds like you got a battery problem or something. I'm going to move along here. Who else do we have? Stations with an amateur radio related question. Please give us your call sign twice. This is Dick, WB2JPQ. KI4CLG.
NQ7Z. November, Quebec 7 Zoo.
November, Quebec 7 Zulu. Charles, Tucson, Arizona. Your question, please.
Thanks, and good evening, everyone out there listening. My question has to do with these SDR dongles that you can hook to your computer. I have a friend who wants to learn CW, and I'm thinking that if I had his laptop and a long piece of wire, the SDR devices would work well for him. Is there a recommended software package that he would be able to download, or I could download and test the dongles with? I have a couple of different ones, and I know SDR Sharp is there. And are there other rather easy to use? The SDR Sharp seems possibly more difficult than what I would expect for him to operate. Any comments? NQ7Z, this is Charlie in Tucson, over.
Let's see if we got any SDR dongle people out there, Charlie. And I myself have had zero experience with a dongle, so you're asking about tonight. Who can help Charlie out? Looking for a dongle for a friend. It's easy to use, so he can learn CW. All call at once. Where's all our dongle people here tonight? Who plays with SDR dongles and help Charlie out? W4F. W4FWN. Dan, bail us out here. Good evening.
Well, good evening, everyone else on the net. I don't know about for CW, but the one I use is SDR Sharp dongle. I've never tried CW on it, but SDR Sharp seems to work for mine. He might try that back to net control.
That's what Charlie said. I think he's familiar with that one. Anybody else got any suggestions? Guess we're not going to get an answer for you tonight, Charles, other than SDR Sharp, which you already mentioned.
Yeah, there was another station there, I think, trying to check in. Try again.
Well, make it. This is K8BAC.
SDR dongles over the high frequency band. So make sure that your has one before you spend a lot of time learning the software.
There was a double there, and the fellow there describing the time involved with learning the software. Could you come again with your call and your name, please?
SDR dongles, good evening.
Hi, this is N5RTC Terry in Austin, Texas. Make sure that SDR dongle covers the high frequency band. Many of them don't.
Very thanks for that information. Thank you for that. I've noticed that it can pick up FM on 2-meter band, but I haven't had a lot of success with the device working below the 2-meter band. I will give that some further examination. Thanks for that information. There was one other comment in there. Could you come again, please?
Yeah, those are Al, Charlie Al, APHD. What's your experience?
Yes, and he's right about that. I was going to mention something similar. There are programs out there that you can attach to your web SDR, whatever you're using, to decode CW. Some of them are pretty good. Some of them you have to do a little investigation. But you can get a piece of equipment. They're pretty cheap. Actually, $115, like on Amazon, you can get the whole setup where you can convert your dongle into HF frequencies and pretty much pick up anything. It's kind of how I got into ham radio to begin with, KBAC, back to control.
Oh, thanks, Al. Some good information. Well, Charles, there you go. Got some little homework assignment for you there. Great, thanks, Al. Who else do we have? Stations with amateur radio related questions.
WB3EGD with a comment on the dongle situation. WB3EGD.
Oh, good evening, Richard. Go ahead, sir.
Thanks very much, Dick. Yeah, I'm trying to imagine how you're going to have your friend learn CW by using the dongle, such as the RTL SDR dongle, with whatever software, because basically you're using it to receive CW. The shortwave bands, and there's a much easier non-dongle way to do that, and that would be to Google Kiwi SDR, Kiwi SDR, which is one of three different types of SDRs that are available online without a dongle, just through your browser. And there's about 100 Kiwi SDR receivers that you can tune into all over the globe, maybe more. So that's the way I do it, WB3EGD.
Thanks, Richard. A lot of people have that.
NQ7Z.
Charles,
Someone doubled with you, Dick, WB3EGD.
This is NQ7Z Tucson. Richard, thanks for the information there. That may be useful if we can find one in a local proximity to both my student and the old Elmer here. Maybe we could work something out here. Thanks again, NQ7Z. Back to net.
ADH.
The last station, N8DHC, I guess, that's Jim Beck. All right, thanks, Richard, for your input, and good luck to you, Charles. I guess you're back, Jim. N8DHC, good evening again. Go ahead with your technical question.
Okay, Roger, thank you. Good evening to you. Good evening to the net. I had to change radios. I was using an 857 and it didn't seem to be doing the job, so I put this D9000 in here. It's got a little more power output. Anyway, the question I had was, how do you figure, what is the formula to figure using parallel line, the twin lead to match full wave looped antenna? There is a way to do it, I know, but I don't have the formula. It's the same thing that you do when you use a Q section on a horizontal, on a
Vertical antenna. I think it has to do with the difference between a balanced and an unbalanced antenna or something.
KC6 UFM. You there, Dick? KC6 UFM.
Go ahead, Charles. I didn't hear you. I'm sorry.
No worries. Okay, now we've got Jim's question there. Let me find out where I am. There we go. Okay, yeah. Well, to start with, balanced and unbalanced. If you're using open wire feeder, Jim, that's a balanced line, and the full wave loop is also balanced, so you don't need to do anything there. But where you couple that twin lead to coax to come on into the shack, unless you're going to run the twin lead all the way in, you'll need something there. But whether it needs to be a Ballon or just do a common mode choke, it's going to work for you. But as far as talking is concerned, just in a nutshell, I don't want to get in too deep into the weeds here, but basically what it comes down to is you take the impedance of the feed line and the impedance of the antenna. You multiply those together, take the square root, and that will tell you what the impedance will need to be at the end of that feed line. Normally, you're going to be using a quarter wave section at whatever frequency you're at, so it could be quite long. But if you're going to do that, Jim, I would recommend that you cut out the middleman, which essentially means getting rid of the losses, and run the open wire feeder all the way into the shack, and let a decent antenna tuner work, but have a decent tuner to tune out and get a good match for you to the transceiver. That's going to be the best way to go and best way to eliminate losses. Back over to you, Dick. KC6 UFM.
Thank you, Charles. Jim, that was a lot to dissolve. I hope you got it. If not, I'm sure you could talk to Charles on email.
Thank you so much, and everybody have a great evening. This is N8DHC, back to net.
Thanks, Jim. Thank you, Charles, for the information. Amateur radio-related questions. Who else do we hear at 61 past the hour? This is Dick, WB2JPQ.
KE2FZA.
Good evening again, John. Go.
Thank you. Just a real basic question, and it's basic because I'm just getting started here and just trying to figure things out. So I have a Bellfong GA510 and used Chirp to program it for the first time. And I'm just wondering, when I read the radio, the columns just don't match up 100% with when I download something from Repeater Book, for example. So my question is, when it's written back to the radio, are the columns kind of standardized, or do I need to make adjustments? in the individual channel itself. By the way, I'm using a Linux system and not Windows, so I'm not sure if that makes a difference or not.
We mentioned the bullfang. They just told me in the Zoom room here that the 510 is a radiatity, not a bullfang, but I don't know if that makes the difference, but I never take anything out of repeat. I always program the radios the way I want them. I don't cut and paste anything, so I'm, again, poor one to ask. But let's put it up at several hundred connections here. Somebody might have an answer for you, John. We're not going to have an answer for you, John, unfortunately.
Earlier was telling me that it's made by a Baofeng anyway, so I guess it's just a rebrand radio from what I hear, so I'm not sure if it makes a difference or not. Back to you.
W2AJR.
Hey, hi, Andy. Bail me out, buddy. W2AJR, good evening.
Good evening, Dick. And then what am I hearing here? I'm getting an echo. Okay, that takes care of that. If you're looking at chirp and you're looking at repeater book, it's through chirp, and the columns match up completely. It makes no difference. Chirp picks the columns that it needs and fills in those blanks, but as Dick said, you can't trust that 100%, because this repeater that I'm on in Buffalo is a perfect example, because it has the offset wrong in repeater book. So you gotta double check what you get out of repeater book before you slap that into chirp. I hope that helps. W2AJR.
Thanks, Andy. Well, there you go, John. Guess it doesn't matter. But yeah, always check. You know, if you're going to put a channel in, program into the radio, make sure, you know, that it's the right PL, the right off, and so forth and so on. Sounds like you're well on your way, though. Let's see. Where are you coming in? You're in Buffalo, so probably coming in through, obviously, through one of the Western New York. Anyway, did help you, John? Help you, John? KE2FZ8, John, was that a help to you?
I have a follow-up question. So if I can't trust repeater with the settings there, then what's the go-to for all these repeaters and the other stations?
As good as any data. We're just saying that there's, you know, if whoever supplied the information wasn't right, or if there was a typo or something. But every once in a while you find that that's the wrong PL, or list things that are no longer on the air and so forth. And our suggestion is, you know, like, I don't know what you're on 444.15. I think that's repeat. And that's 88.5 encode decode. You know, just program that in the radio and make sure it works for you, and then you know, write it to the radio. That's all we're saying. Just make sure the data that you're putting in is correct.
Wrong. It's just backwards, and those are pretty evident. So just go through and take a quick look at that and make sure that those are all kind of make sense, and you should be fine. W2AJR.
Thanks, Andy. And, Thanks, Andy. And good luck to you, John. Go to eastcoastreflector.com. Stop into our Zoom room sometime. We'll be glad to help you. I'm, like I said, I'm here. I know everything that's pretty much VHF and the like around here, so I'll be glad to work with the eastcoastreflector.com. There's a button there that'll take you right into the East Coast Reflector Zoom room, and can be glad to work with you at any time. All right, who else do we have? Stations with amateur radio related question. Call signs twice.
KD2 TFB, Kilo Delta 2, Bravo.
Yeah, Joe, go ahead.
I'd like to comment on Chirp. They do publish new versions that fairly regularly. They actually have a nightly build, they call it. And I'm using Chirp Next, which is their latest and greatest. You want to update your Chirp on a regular basis so you have the right interpretation of the data coming from the radio. Also, as far as, correcting what's in repeater book, I mean, it's very valuable to at least come to some of the clubs in the area. I belong to the Radio Association of New York and the Lancaster Amateur Radio Club. I mean, you go to their meetings and their get-togethers, you can talk with other hands and get the correct information. Actually, my question would be kind of antenna design. So what I'm planning on doing is putting up an end-fed antenna, start at my house and go into my backyard. Is there any tips you can provide to get like the widest bandwidth out of an antenna? What is there anything I can do, to go on whatever band, like to operate the widest bandwidth on the antenna? Any tips on what I can do with that?
Referred it to Charles, but about 4-aught copper would work pretty good, wouldn't it, Charles?
Yeah, that would be my first suggestion, is just increase the size. 4-aught copper should do it for you. And there are some other options out there, but kind of depends on how much money you want to spend. I would have to go along with what Dick said there about the 4-aught. KC6 UFM. Back to you, Dick.
Pretty tough to get bandwidth. The size of the diameter is what we're kidding around about. The bigger the wire, the more the bandwidth, or wider the bandwidth. But if Charles didn't have a costly answer, I don't think you want to go there.
Roger. Thank you for the advice. KD2 TFB, back to net control.
A piece of wire that'll go DC to daylight, and we'll be all set, Joe. Who else do we have? Stations with a question.
AJ4 LXJ with an HF question.
AJ4LHJ, Lakeland, Florida. Good evening.
Correction, that is KJ4LXJ, Crystal River, Florida. Studying for my general license right now, what would be the most efficient antenna either to purchase or to build for your F station?
Well, again, I'll defer that to Charles, and we can take some other comments. Antenna building is always fun, Rex. Sorry, we had the Crystal River. We had the we had your call sign wrong. Charles, you want to give Rex an answer to that?
Oh, absolutely, Dick. This is Charles, KC6 USM. Yeah, Rex, for a beginner, if you will, that's probably not the right word, but for a first antenna for HF, I would really recommend that you go with an end-fed long wire. Number of them out there on the market, they're in the $100 to $150 range, sometimes a little cheaper. And depending upon what you get, you can go everything from 160 meters all the way to 6 meters with one antenna and a fairly inexpensive matching unit. Or if you have one of the radios that has a built-in matcher, built-in tuner, that will cover that antenna as well, and that'll get you on all the bands. It's not the best possible, absolutely not, but it will work and it will get you on all bands. The important thing is, Rex, is to get something up in the air that'll get you on the air, to where you can start talking and start using the privileges and get into the communications, which is what ham radio is all about. And yes, you can build those, but my experience has been by the time you wind the transformer and buy the parts and everything, you can generally buy one for less money. FJ makes a number of them. If you go to DX Engineering or HRO or Gigaparts, they're going to have tons and tons of them on there. And they all work extremely well and will get you on the air and get you making worldwide contacts across all the spectrum. Back over to 6 USF.
Charles, well, there's a good answer for you. And yes, we tell everybody, just put some wire in the air and start having fun and get your first antenna up, and can always improve and onward and upward from there. So, was that any help to you, Rex?
Yes, it was, guys. I appreciate all the answers, and I'm building antennas and both HF and VHF and UHF, so that was a good answer. I have not gotten my HF license yet, my general. I'm studying for it right now, so hopefully within the next month or so, I'll be looking into the possibilities of what I need to put up and what radio I want to get. Thank you, guys. KJ4 LXJ, Rex, Romeo Echo, Crystal River, Florida.
Thank you, Crystal River. Thanks for being there. I'll take one more question, then we'll go to general check-ins. Who else has got an amateur radio-related question?
November 8th, Quebec, Yankee, Quebec.
Jay in Detroit. Hello, Jay. N8QYQ. Your please.
New general here as well, and happy shopper at Dayton over the weekend. Came home with a Diamond dual band Omni for 2-meter 440 and an end-fed half-wave for HF. I have one antenna on the roof today, and it is a compact television over broadcast antenna for a couple of the TVs in the house. Wondering if you had to pick one or the other, would you keep the dual band away from the TV receive antenna or the HF away from it? N8QYQ.
I'll defer that to Charles. I know what I would do, but Charles, go ahead.
Thank you, Dick. Jay, there's quite a bit of spectrum between the HF bands and the television. channels. Whereas if you're talking, 2 meters and 70 centimeters, you're going to be a lot closer to those TV stations, with the exception of lowest channels. But I would try myself to keep the dual band VHF UHF away from the TV antenna a little bit more. But one other thing to keep in mind is if you can run your end half wave at a 90-degree angle or something close to a 90-degree angle to the elements in the TV antenna, you're not going to have a whole lot of interaction with that. And also, stay as far away as possible. And just at a guess, I would say, if you can get 20 feet away or more, you're going to be okay there as well. But the VHF, UHF, personally, I've had a lot of issues with that, but it was in the lower TV channels that I ran into problems. And, of course, if you're going to run 6 meters and you're going to try and watch channel 2, you're going to have real problems then. So, anyway, that's the way I would handle it, Jay, and you should be okay with it. But more importantly, the best thing to do, really, is to kind of think about it a little bit. Don't get too hung up on wrapped up around the axle with it. Put the antennas up, and if you have interference, move one. It'll be easy to figure out which one is giving you problems. And sometimes just moving them a foot or two will make all the difference in the world. Back over to you, Dick, KC6, USM.
For sure, Charles, on UHF, sometimes a 6 inches, a quarter wave will make all the difference in the world. All right, Jay, is that any help to you?
As always, thanks to the crew here. Have a great evening. NACYQ, the drink. Take care.
7-3, Jay. Well, this time, let me send it up to our good friend Kevin, VE3B, Victoria Harbour, Ontario, and see if he has anything for us tonight on the swap job. Good evening, Kevin.
Thank you, Dick. Good evening, everyone. This is Kevin, VE3BZ, with tonight's swap and shop portion of the TechNet. And tonight I have just a couple items here on VE3MPH in Windsor, Ontario. He's got a couple lots of items for sale. The first items are from part of an estate of a friend of his, and they're located in Detroit, Michigan, actually. And they will ship from there and are in U.S. funds. There's too much stuff to list here, but you can contact John and find out what he has. His email is ve3mph@yahoo.com. And then he also has a second lot of items that are his own personal, that are located in Windsor, and will ship from there and are in Canadian funds, or the prices are in Canadian funds. And again, too many to list here, so contact John again. I did provide some links in the groups.io listing you can click on and check them out, or if you get the newsletter, the ECR magazine, they're also in there. And again, John's email is ve3mph@yahoo.com. Just contact him for more information. And that is all I have this week. If you have anything for sale, trade, or want, just go to eastcoastreflector.com, contact ECR and SwapNet submissions, or email them directly to me at ve3bz@rogers.com. And that's it. Back to you, Dick, VE3BZ.
Thank you, Kevin. Good job, as always, keeping all that stuff straight. Well, that'll do it for me Tonight, I'm going to send it up to Roger, or down to Roger. He's in Florida. KO4QMM, he's going to take call districts 3 through 7, and Kevin's going to 8 through 2 in the late and mid. Take it away, Roger. Good evening, everyone. This is WB2JPQ.
Thank you, Dick, for entertaining start of the evening, and I'm happy to do the second part here. This is KO4QMM, Roger in Central Florida. I'll be the net controller for districts 3 through, and the question tonight is, are you planning on working POTA? And I know I am. I've been just getting set up to do it, so looking forward to it. All right, if you have a 3 in your call sign, come twice and slow to answer the question this evening.
WB3EGE.
TM. Whiskey Baker 3, Golf, Tank, Mike.
Whiskey Bravo 3, Echo Golf Delta.
Echo 3, India, Quebec, Uniform, 3 Junior.
And let me thank Vicky for logging, KEAY. Let's start at VE3IQU, Reg, Brampton, Ontario, Canada. WB3GTM, Mike, Westford, Vermont. And WB3EGD, Richard, Hazleton, PA. Was there any other 3s we missed? Alrighty, Hazleton, PA, WB3EGD. Are you planning on working POTA this summer?
Well, thank you, Roger. Good evening to you and all who are listening. Yes, I am, because I went on my first POTA excursion last summer, and it was unsuccessful. And I'm very disappointed a lot, and so this time I want to make up for my failure and do it the right way this time. So it's in the plans. Thank you very much. WB3EGD, back to net.
All right, sounds like you got a plan there. This is a good question for doing it myself. You know, it's just so many different things to do with, and that's one of them. Get out there to different parks and play around. All right, let's move on to Mike, Westford, Vermont, WB3GTM. Good evening, Mike.
Good evening, net control ops and everyone on the net. Mike WTM. I'll jump to the question. I do work POTA parks as a hunter regularly. As far as going out and actually working a park, I'll probably tag team with my son when he goes. He works it once in a while. I'll probably tag team with him. I don't want to jump in and do it by myself right off the bat, but I'll probably do it with him. And I think that would be fun and fun to do it with my son also. Hey, thanks for running the nets and thanks for checking me in. Back to net control. This is WB3GTM.
Thank you, Mike, for joining us tonight. And yeah, that sounds fun. It's a little bit addicting once you get going there. I did it one time, like 2 years ago. Ended up with 54 contacts in about an hour or something. I liked it. Some other things got in the way, and I'm ready to get back to it. All right, thanks, Mike. Let's move on to Reg. VE3, Ontario, Canada. Are you planning on working POTA this summer?
And a very, very good evening to you and everyone around the net tonight, for sure. And from good old Canada. And very good evening to you there, Dick, if you're listening. I hope you are. And I hope you're doing well. As for the question of tonight, nope, I am not planning on it. Doesn't mean it won't happen. But in order for it to happen, I almost virtually have to buy a radio. I've got no objection to that. I love radios, but we'll see how that plays out over the course of summer. So it's us, you, and summer's on its way, and it's getting close at hand, so let's hope we all have a good one, and live long enough to see the fall. So, back to you, V3IQU.
Thanks, Reg, for joining us. And we kind of cheat down here. You know, you say, how does KO4QMM go out there in about 95 degrees? Well, I got a mobile truck and a nice antenna outside to sit inside the air condition. Works. Thanks, Reg. All right, we're going to move on to the fours now. As I said, this is KO4QMM. And the question of the night is, are you planning on working POTA this summer? And we already got via text line KK4SED, KY4NB, KQGLY. Anybody else? Come with your call, nice and slow.
W4PPX, W4FRR, KO4FRR.
4 Fox X-ray, Charlie, K4FXC.
Victor Kilo 5, Charlie Foxtrot Whiskey, VK5 CFW.
This is Kilo Quebec 4 Oscar Uniform X-ray. That's KQ4OUX, Vince, North Carolina.
This is 9Y4DX, 9 Yankee 4 Delta X Ultra.
All right, a nice little list there. 9Y4DX, Bertrand, my friend from Trinidad. KQ4QX, Vince, Columbus, North Carolina. VK5CFW, Carl, South Australia. You'll probably have to wait for all the fives there, Carl. That'll be next. K4FXC, David, Wilmington, North Carolina. My buddy KO4FRR, Joe, Sorrento, Florida, and K4PX, Don, Hollywood, Florida, and the rest I already mentioned via text line, so KK4SED, left, Claremont, Florida. Are you planning on working POTA this summer? Everybody on the net? Les here in Claremont. 83 degrees, getting cool. No health issues, unable to attend the POTA sessions coming up short. So, thanks for allowing me to KK4D back to net. Thank you for joining us this evening, Les, and have a wonderful evening. Let's go. This is Tennessee, KY4NB, home of Elvis and barbecue. Good evening, Scott. Did your battery die there, Scott? KY4NB. He must have been. Let's move on to next via text line. Chris, Parish, Florida, KQ4GLY. Good evening, Chris.
Roger and everyone on the net. Answer to the question, no, I will not be doing POTA because I'm not equipped for it. Back to net, KQ4GLY.
That's tonight, Chris. Yep, good evening, too. Let's move on to Dawn, Hollywood, Florida, W4PPX. Good evening, Dawn. And are you planning on working POTA this summer?
Good evening, Gary, everybody on it. No, I'm not equipped for it. It's kind of hot down here. Hope everybody has a good evening. I'll catch you later. W4PPX, back to control.
You have a good evening too, Don. WPX. This is KO4QMM, Roger in Central Florida with the Tuesday Night TechNet. Question is, are you planning on working POTA this summer? I know this next guy is. KO4FRR. Good evening, Joe.
I don't know what that was, but this is Joe, KL4FR. Good to see you, hear from you, Roger. I'm hopefully your buddy, but I'll be on Hot Wings Friday with you. I'll be going to Buffalo for 2 weeks next month, and I'm hoping to get some participation with a few people up there. But, so my answer would be yes. This is Joe, KO4FR, back to net control.
Thanks, Joe. Yes, sir. I'm looking forward to Friday and those hot wings. Not quite the hot ones that you eat, but I'll be right there hot ones with you. So, and looking forward to doing some POTA. We'll have some fun with that too. Thanks for being there, Joe. Have a great evening. Next, David, Wilmington, North Carolina, K4FXC. Good evening, David.
KO4QMM and that K4FXC. Good evening, everybody. Well, getting here a little late tonight, but I guess it's better late than never. I don't know if I'll be doing any POTA activations this summer, but I will certainly be doing Field Day, 4th weekend in June. Definitely got a lot of activity plans related to that, and be real super busy with it. Everyone have a wonderful evening. K4FXC back to that.
You have a wonderful evening too there, David. You have great signal, great audio. Let's move on to Vince, Columbus, North Carolina, KQ4OUX. Good evening, Vince.
Hey, good evening, Roger. Good evening, everybody. And KQ4OUX. Yeah, we will have a training program. Our club, like I said, right now is going to be doing a couple of them. We're going to be doing a field day training and a POTA training. So we're going to go up to the mountains, and we're going to do some training up there, and we're going to learn a lot about POTA, as well as, working on the field day. So definitely looking forward to it. We got big schedules coming up, like I said. Our club is very active, like I said, in putting programs together. So we got quite a few of them going on, and it's going to be a busy summer this year. This is KQ4OUX, the back to net control.
Oh, the mountains sound fun. That would be some pretty cool POTA there. Pretty far to get to from Florida to find a mountain. Unless I go to Mount Dora. Hi. Alright, thanks, Vince. Let's move on to Bertrand, my dad. NY4DX. Bertrand, you're up.
Well, a pleasant evening to you, Net Control, KO4QMM. Roger, this is 9Y4DX, Bertrand, and my location, Trinidad and Tobago in the Caribbean. Well, yes, to my friends, all the officers, the Net Control persons, I hope everyone is doing well and safe. At Tobago, we have been having a lot of rain over the past days. It was as bad as some areas being flooded. And let me just give you the temperature at this time, 79 degrees. We're going down to around 70. So with respect to the question at hand, no, I am not planning to do any POTA this summer because I plan to take a vacation for this summer, working on it. So that's it from me. No further traffic. Back to you, Net Control. KO4QMM. This is 9Y4. Yeah.
Thank you, Bertrand, for being with us this evening. And yeah, man, we've been really dry here in Florida, but looks like maybe next week that'll change. We'll get into our afternoon thunderstorms, hopefully. So thanks for being with us. That's it. Now we're going to move on to the fives. This is KO4QMM. If you have a 5 in your call sign, join us this evening and answer the question of the evening. Cover your call sign. There we go. Somebody sat on the PTT switch there or something. If you have a 5 in your call sign, come twice and slowly for the question of the evening.
Kilo India 5, Kilo India, Kilo India 5, Kilo India.
Kilo India 5, Kilo India, Antonio, Church Point, Louisiana. Good evening, Antonio. And our question of the evening is, are you planning on working POTA this summer?
Unfortunately, I am not. I would love to get on the HF. I just haven't had a chance to get the equipment. I've looked into POTA, just the equipment.
KI5, KKI. You still there? Alright,
yes, I don't know if you heard. I am looking forward to it, but I don't have the equipment just yet. So I will not be doing POTA this summer.
KI5 PM, Bill, Hobbs, New Mexico. You there?
Good evening, Roger. I'm not going to do the POTA this summer. Hope everybody has a good evening. KI5 PMI. Back to net.
QSL, Bill, you have a wonderful night there, and I think we there, Antonio. No,
You have a wonderful evening too. Let's move on to the 6s. Anybody with a 6 in their call sign, come twice and slow.
Kilo Foxtrot 6 Hotel Delta Juliet. Kilo Foxtrot 6 Hotel Delta Juliet.
November 6.
Kilo November 6.
Sierra Delta, November 6. November 6. Sierra Delta, Zulu.
Kilo November 6 Golf Sierra Golf. Kilo November 6 Golf Sierra Golf. Kilo 9 Delta Quebec. Kilo 9 Delta Quebec.
All right, got a nice little list of 6, starting with KN6 SDZ, San Jose, California. KN6 GSG, Perry, Moss Beach, California. KF6 HDJ, Brent, Pensacola, Florida. KC6 UFM, our buddy Charles in Kitay, California. And K6AAN, Mike, Valley Springs, California. Was there any 6s we missed?
6 Kilo Victor. Alpha Delta 6 Golf. Alpha Delta 6 Golf.
All right, bottom of the list, AD6G, Yucca Valley, California. KU6B, Don, San Martin, California. KN6SDZ, Mike, San Jose, California. I think I already went through those, and Todd just popped up. KD6DIQ, Yucca Valley, California. Boy, Vicky, you really knock them out there. It's amazing how you find them call signs. Thanks again. This is KO4QMM. Text line K6AAN, Mike, Valley Springs, California. Are you planning on working POTA this summer? Might have been in and out. K6AAN. I think this next guy's in the house. Charles from Kitay, California. KC6UFM. I think you would have liked my 20-meter net this last Thursday, Charles. I had the hex beam going, pointed north, and I had my long wire, inverted L, and one in each ear. I tell you what, that was fun. Back to you, KC6UFM.
Good evening, Roger. This is Charles, UFM from beautiful downtown Guatay, California. As far as the question is concerned, right up front, no. I've just never gotten into POTA, and I'm too old to be climbing mountains to do SOTA, so I don't around with those too much. But thank you to you, Roger and Kevin and Dick for herding the cats tonight, and Vicki is always doing a bang-up job sorting through those pilots. I don't know how she does that. Of course, you know, I'm kind of the old country boy, Roger. You know, I'm deaf in one ear and can't hear out the other, so you know, I can't do as well as she can. I'm not sure anybody could, but yeah, you know, there's something to be said, Roger, for antenna diversity. You know, having multiple antennas covering the same bands in different orientations, And I'm sure, as you know, that sometimes you'll get a signal coming in, at 20 over S9 on one antenna, and you can't even hear them on the antenna right next to it. So that makes a huge, huge difference. But good job on that, and working that DX in there. But otherwise, not too much going on here. Starting to move into summertime in Southern California. We made it up to almost 90 today, and by the weekend, they're predicting we're going to be well over 100. So just a few weeks ago, they were telling us, and we actually did have a few snow flurries. So go figure. But anyway, to everybody, have a great day, and see you around on the East Coast Reflector. Back over to you, Roger. KC6 UFM.
Thank you, Charles, for joining us, and your antenna knowledge is always a breath of fresh air. You have a wonderful evening, and next we're going to move on to Brent, Pensacola, Florida, KF6HDJ. Good evening, Brent.
Well, good evening, everybody on the net. And I'm not planning on doing any POTA activations this summer. It is something that's on my list to do, but unless I can rent an RV, it's just way too hot to be built apart. But hopefully in the fall when it starts cooling down here in Florida. 73 and back to the net. KF6HDJ.
That's my... They're already thinking about fall in Florida. I like that. And my mobile inside the truck, you just turn the AC on high and you do just fine. Put the laptop on the seat next to you. Thanks, Brent. Let's move on to Barry, Moss Beach, California. KN6GSG. How about it, Barry? Are you planning on working POTA this summer?
Hello, this is Barry, KN6GSG, and hi, Roger. No, POTA is not my cup of tea. I have the equipment, but I don't have the interest. Anyway, that's it. So thank you for letting me check in. Thanks for being here. This is Barry, KN6GSG. Back to the net.
Yes, you have to, for sure. For being with us, Barry. Let's move on to Mike, San Jose, California, KN6SGZ. Good evening, Mike. KN6SDZ. Are you there, Mike? Well, he might have had a package at the door he had to run to or something. Maybe he can catch the late show. Thanks. Let's move on to Don, San Martin, California, KU6B. Good evening, Don. Are you planning on doing any POTA this summer? KU6V, are you there, Don? Flybys. Let's try Yucca Valley. Lawrence, AD6G. Are you planning on working POTA this summer, Lawrence?
Well, it's 86G. I don't have specific plans, but I got friends here in town who are into POTA, and I think they have plans to abduct me to go do some POTA, so I might end up doing some POTA that way. Anyway, back to hiking the trail here, 86G.
That's how they rope you in there. Be careful. Next you'll be addicted to POTA. Thanks for joining us, Lawrence. Let's move on to Todd in Yucca Valley, California. KD6DIQ.
Yeah, I didn't check in. I don't know how they got my call sign, but I didn't check in. I just, I'll go ahead and, I'm not into POTA, and I wish you guys a good night. I'm kind of like, HF guy. KD60IQ.
Wrong with that, Todd. Vicky's kind of psychic. She just kind of knew you thought you better get in there. So thanks for being with us. This is KO4QMM Roger in Central Florida, and I'm on my last call district here, 7. If you have a 7 in your call sign, come twice and slow.
Kilo Juliet 7, Whiskey Oscar Hotel. Kilo Juliet 7, Whiskey Oscar Hotel.
Alright, we got Marty, KJ7WOH, Troutdale, Oregon. And 7. Well, I can't milk it much more. Good evening, Marty from Troutdale, Oregon. KJ7WOH. Are you planning on working any POTA this summer?
Evening, Roger. Well, probably not this summer. I've hunted POTA quite a bit, but I've done an activation. I've got the rig here, and I've got a portable vertical antenna. What I need is some logging software and a battery. So maybe I will eventually, but probably not this summer. Thank you, 73, Kilo Juliet 7, Whiskey Oscar Hotel.
Thanks, Marty, for joining us this evening. And yeah, pretty easy logging software to hook you up there and help to go with it. And if you need any other help, you can always come to the Zoom room here at East Coast and get plenty of help. And that's it for me. I'm going to hand it over to KE7K, Kevin, and he'll take you out the back door there. And thanks, Vicky, for logging again, KE8BKY. Everybody have a wonderful evening. Thanks for joining me. KO4QMM clear.
Great, thank you very much, Roger, and Dick, here to you, and Vicky all night long on the log. This is KE7K. My name is Kevin. I'll be your net controller for the last third of the general check-ins this evening, or the last half of the general check-ins. I'm doing 8901 and 2. 8901 and 2. And the 8s are up first. If you have an 8 in your call sign you'd like to check in this evening, please come now.
Alpha Delta 8, Mike Juliet. Alpha Delta 8, Mike Juliet. Allen, Northeast Ohio. Good evening, Kevin.
Evening, 88MJ, CRW8CRW, and Roy, K8BYU, reverse order. Anybody else with an 8 in their call sign, please come now.
WJ8E, Whiskey Juliet 8 Echo.
All right, good evening, Jerry from Oregon, Ohio. It's a very cool sign. WJ8E got you on the log. Fourth in line here in the 8th call district. We'll start with Roy in Blaisdell, New York, KA8BYU. Good evening, Roy. Tonight's general question is, are you planning on working POTA this summer?
Everybody on the TechNet, KA8BYU. Yeah, it's a possibility. I'd like to, that's for sure.
Very good, Roy. Thank you for checking in. CR, W8, CRW.
Good evening, Kevin, and all on the net. Negative to the question. No POTA for me. I have no interest in it. 73 to all. W8CRW.
I get a radio check from the West Indies.
All right, thank you for checking in, CR. And the West Indies station, you'll have to stand by. It looks like you're just coming in via the Houston node. AD8MJ, good evening, Alan, in Warren, Ohio. Are you planning?
With the solar panel and work POTA and field day, and maybe get into some emergency communication. So I'm looking forward to exploring some new places, trying antennas, and maybe help out where I'm needed there. So that's it for me. Back to 7K7K, 73 everybody, 88MJ.
Hey, very good, Alan. Thank you for checking in. Sounds like you got a solid summer. Last in the 8th is Jerry in Oregon, Ohio. WJ8E. Jerry, this is Kevin from Portland, Oregon. KE7K.
Kevin and everybody on the net. No, I'm not going to operate POTA. I did get I'm now in contact with an amateur operator from San Diego who is headed this way, and he wanted some information about the area parks and what frequencies to use, and contacted the local amateur radio club, and I got some information which I forwarded on to him, so he's expected to be here in June or July. That's all on this end, WJD.
Seven three Jerry, thank you for checking in. We'll move on to the 9th call. If you have a 9 in your call sign, please come now. All right, final call for anybody with the 9 in their call sign. Please come now. Alright, nothing heard. This is KE7K, your net control station. We'll move on to the 0 call district. If your call sign has a 0 in it, please come now.
And 0 MSS.
Good evening, Ross, in 0 MSS. Stand by just for a second. Anybody else with a 0 in their call sign, please come now. Final call.
VHF monitoring. Whiskey Oscar 7 X-ray.
All right, Ross, sounds like you're the only person with a 0 in their call sign this evening. In 0 MSS. Ross, are you planning on working any POTA this summer? And as the personal question, are we out of soup season?
I missed your personal question. Say it again.
Yeah, sorry, Ross. My personal question is just whether we are out of soup season. Are soups done for lunch this time of year?
That question would be answered with a negative. I had vegetable beef soup yesterday, and my wife canned a bunch of chickens here last weekend, so I'm thinking of making some wild rice chicken soup, which is always good. And that might go good on a day of doing POTA. Yes, I'd like to activate some POTA sites in North Dakota this year. I've got a radio, I've got a portable battery now, and I made a coil for the bottom of a 17-foot whip to make it on 40 as a club project. So that went good, and we tested them out with our antenna analyzers, and everybody's tuned up, so I'm anxious to get out and try that. And I also, as a club project, we built a 49-to-1 balance. I just have to put some wire on the end and go string that in some trees and see if I can use that to activate a spot too. So planning on doing it, just haven't had time to yet, and hope to work some of you guys out. Back to net and 0 MSS.
Very good, Ross. I imagine you'll be a hot commodity activating stuff up there in your region. Thanks for checking in tonight. All right, we're down to the 1s and the 2s for general check-ins. If you have a 1 in your call sign, please come now.
Whiskey 1, Lima Tango Charlie. KC1 QPL, KC1 QPL.
1 PJQ. KC1 PJQ.
I recognize John and Christopher, W1 LTC, KC1 QPL, and KC1 PJQ. Anybody else with a 1 in their call sign, please come now. All right, nothing heard. James, you're first up in the ones, W1 LTC. Good evening. Are you planning on working POTA this summer?
Good evening, Patrol. This is Whiskey 1, Lima, Tango, Charlie. Roger that. Yeah, I intend to try to work several stations. I do a little bit of POTA from time to time, and primarily been using ham sticks, and I do have an ATOS 120. However, I started trying vertical. It's a 17-inch, 17-foot vertical whip, so I'm looking forward to getting that out and trying to use that. Over.
Speaker music. PCC check on check. Check. Johnsford. Will TV over Windows. MDE serial top DMRTCIF Ulic serial toggle H. DMRTCIF Ulic serial DMRT. 00 unit serial toggle status serial toggle call 0 serial on air. Serial toggle DM. Will TV over Windows. MDE serial toggle H. DMRTCIF Ulic serial toggle. DMRTCIF Ulic serial. Speaker music. PC mode control. Pass control. Speaker DMR destination DMR ID and combo. Presenter WUCRO keyboard. CBIF network active.
Great, thank you for checking in, James. Good luck with your activations this summer. John, good evening. South St. Paul, Minnesota. KC1QPL. Good evening, John.
Good evening, Kevin. Good evening, everyone on TechNet tonight. Thanks for having me. I enjoyed listening along. KC1QPL probably not doing any POTA this summer. Regrettably, I no longer drive, so it won't be happening. Maybe some of my buddies if they do any. Back to you, sir. Thanks for having me. KC1QPL.
Yeah, thanks for checking in, John. Good to get you during the morning brew the other morning when I filled in and I caught you in the Zoom. Put eyeballs on you. I think that might have been the first time. Sorry we didn't have time to talk outside of the net. Thanks for checking in. Christopher, you're the last ones in the ones this evening. KC1PJQ, good evening.
Kevin, and everyone on the net this evening. Unfortunately, no, there probably will be no POTA for me as I'm disabled, but you never know. One of these days, maybe I may get mobile. Back to you, next control.
Thanks for checking in, Christopher. All right, the last group this evening is the twos. You guys were first last week, so you're down here paying your dues at the bottom of the roster. So far via the text line, we've got Bob, Joel, Andy, Randy, Robert, KD2 JPP, WA2 UUS, W2 AJR, W2 RBC, and Robert VK2 DY. Good evening. Stand by just for a second. Anybody else with a 2 in their call sign, please come now.
Zulu 2 Echo Charlie. Zulu Sierra 2 Echo Charlie.
W2KJV, W2KJV.
All right, we've Tom, Bill, and Tony, ZS2EC, N2BH, and W2KJV.
Final call for anybody with a 2 in their call sign. Please come now.
2 CJM, W2 CJ.
All right, good evening, Charles, W2 CJM. This is Kilo Echo 7 Kilo, your net control station. At the moment for the East Coast Reflector TechNet, we're doing general check-ins, and we're at the end of the roster here with the 2s. We'll do late and missed here in a minute after we run this group of 2s. First up is Bob, KD2JPP. Bob, are you planning on working POTA this summer?
This is, I don't know if you got me there for a second. Translating. Anyway, how are you doing? And this is, we're not planning to do POTA this year at all. I'd love to do it, but not this year. And we'll send it right back to net control. Hopefully with the IAM committee. KD2, JPP.
Thanks for checking in, Bob, and being one of our loyal TechNet members. Joel, Buffalo, New York, WA2UUS.
And everyone else on the net asked the question. I'm not planning to be part of POTA there. I wish everyone a nice week ahead. Be well and be safe. Thank you, Kevin.
Yeah, thanks for checking in, Joel. Have a nice week. Andy, W2AJR.
With you on the net. Plenty of plans for activation, but I have plenty of plans for hunting. I'll pick up as many as I possibly can. Everybody have a great week. 7-3, back to you.
7-3, Andy. Thank you for checking in. Randy, one of the Coast Reflector team members, W2RBC.
Good evening, Kevin, Vicki, and everyone on the TechNet. Yes, I do POTA hunting all year round, and we'll be doing park activations this summer. I have my motorhome set up for HF radio and mobile power. Net control, 73 to all, W2, RBC.
And 7-3, Randy. VK2DY, Robert, good evening.
Good evening to you. Good afternoon here, 12:06 p.m. VK2DY in northwestern Sydney, where it's currently 65 Fahrenheit, any warmer than that, and overcast and rainy. I'm really getting depressed. It's been raining so long now. Anyway, outside of that, it's coming up to winter here, and winter is pretty mild, so I may get out a couple times to do POTA. I've done it on occasion. And I do also hunt POTA as well, so between the two, I will probably participate this winter in 2DY.
Thanks for checking in, Robert. Tom, ZS2EC, good evening.
Good evening, everybody. ZS2X, Charlie Tom, Port Elizabeth, Eastern Cape, South Africa. No, I've spoken to a lot of POTA stations locally in South Africa, but don't any POTA from my side. Thank you, Kevin.
Good to hear you, Tom. Thank you for checking in. Bill, another East Coast Reflector team member, N2BH.
Good evening, Kevin, Vicky, and everybody. Yeah, I plan on it this year. I bought over the winter, bought a Zygo X 6100. I've got a telescoping mast that'll fit in the back and don't even need any trees or anything. We'll hang some wires and see what we can do. N2BH.
Good luck to you, Bill. Tony, Homosassa, Florida, East Coast Reflector team member, W2KJV.
Evening, Kevin, everyone on the TechNet tonight. Tony here in Homosassa. I've been experimenting with a set of horizontal dipoles, and I have no plans, but I just may try to activate a park out here in Florida. Not sure though. I got to see how they work in normal conditions here. Anyways, everyone have a great night and good week. W2KJ, you, Kevin.
873 Tony, thanks for your work on the slideshow. And Charles, last in the twos this evening before we move on to late and missed. W2CJM, good evening, Charles. Are you planning on working POTA this summer?
Evening, Kevin, and everybody on the crew. I've never done it before, and most likely I will be doing it this year. Thanks for doing the net, and have a great night.
All right, 73 Charles, thank you for checking in. This is KE7K, control station, 622nd East Coast Reflector TechNet. We are down to any stations, late or missed stations. If you have a birthday January through June, late or missed with a birthday January through June, please come now.
November 6, Quebec Delta Yankee, N6QDY.
Charlie Whiskey India, KD6CWI. Good evening.
Kilo Yankee 4, November Bravo, KY4NB, Scotty Memphis. I don't know if I made it in on Ham Shack Hotline earlier, Kevin.
All right, from the bottom up, I recognize KY4NB, KD6CWI, and N6QDY. Any late or missed stations with a birthday July through December. Later missed stations, birthdays July through December. Come now.
Whiskey 0, Sierra Victor Hotel. Whiskey 0, Sierra Victor Hotel. W0 SVH. Sean and Carlos Anderson. Checking in. Kilo Charlie 5. Alpha Lima Hotel. KC5 ALH Paul Big Spring.
We picked up Sean and Paul, W0 SVH and KC5 ALH. The East Coast Reflector TechNet is open for any late or missed stations, any birthday, anywhere. Please come now.
Whiskey Delta Papa India Charlie. Whiskey Delta 8 Papa India Charlie.
All right, very good, Bob. WD8PIC. We'll close it out with you in just a moment. Top of this list is Charles. Excuse me, top of the list is David, N6QDY. David, are you planning on working POTA this summer?
Hello, Kevin, Vicky, and the net. N6QDY. First, I want to thank the net for riding along with me from Sacramento to San Francisco. Made it enjoyable. It's nice listening to everybody. Yep, I plan on trying this POTA. I just registered a few days ago, so I'll be picking everybody's brain out there in the Zoom room and every place else. So yes, thanks for doing the net, all of you, and back to net control. Everybody have a great day. N6Q, or great evening. N6Q, thanks again.
Okay, thanks for checking in, David. Next up is Ruben, KD6CWI. Ruben, when's your birthday? And are you planning on working POTA this summer?
KD6CWI, Ruben in Fallbrook, North County, San Diego. Good evening, Net Control. Thank you for doing the net, and good evening, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here. My birthday was March 13, so I just got my 7-0 this year, and I had to renew my driver's license. And the laws here are to go to the DMV. There was a new law last year that if you don't have any moving violations or DUI, you don't have to take the test. Initially, you have to take the test. So I only had my eye exam. In regards with the parts on their activation, that's a yes, definitely, especially on my trip late June to early July. I'm going to Hawaii to visit my granddaughter. I'm definitely activating there, bringing in some radios, maybe the 850 Delta and some bio and a mask. Let me reset. Other than that, I just had the net today here in Fallbrook, and there's like 10 sightings of rattlesnakes. So to those places where you have the rattlesnakes, watch out where you walk. Right now, they're very active. They're out based on the weather. And that's about this station. Stay safe, stay healthy, enjoy life, and God bless everyone. 73, KD6CWI, back to net control.
Very good, Ruben. Good luck on your activations there in Hawaii. And I think this has come up before, but you and I and Dick, WP2JPQ, all share birthday, so I'll have to remember that next year. Scott, Memphis, Tennessee, KYNB, good evening.
Well, good evening, Kevin and Brother Randall, if he's listening, everybody on the TechNet, KY4NB. I was barbecue land. Well, February 5th was my birthday, and I'm sure some famous people said that was me, or maybe I'm famous and they share it with me. I don't know. Anyway, yes, I hope to do some POTA hunting. I don't know about the activating. I do need to try that, though. Just kind of got into it the last year. It's been fun. With check hotline to work earlier, so that was the issues when I tried to check it there. I can hear, but I don't know what I'm doing on the transmit. I did the star 99, but I don't know if I'm supposed to wait on some connection tone before I started jacking. So anyway, we'll keep trying with that, but I'm on Echo Link. Thanks, Kevin. Back to net. Talk to everybody in the morning. 7-3's KY4NB.
Yeah, 7-3, Scott. I was only half listening during the 4s. I was getting some dinner going. But you did show up that you tried to check in before, so obviously there was some sort of disconnect there. Hope you get it figured out, and thanks for checking in. Sean, Anderson, Texas. Whiskey Zero, Sierra Victor Hotel. Good evening.
Well, good evening, Kevin, everyone on the net. Glad you're holding this tonight. And POTA, I don't do too much POTA, but I got a question. I work offshore on multiple vessels that are moving all around the world. Would that be islands on the air, or to be vessels on the air? POTA. That's my question for this evening. Back to you. That's what I plan on doing. I plan on actually trying to pack up a radio and maybe a couple of dipoles and maybe try to activate from offshore wherever I'm traveling from. I have to look into that and see what that's called. Thank you for holding that. This is W0SBH Sean over here in Anderson, but you can call it Carlos if you want. That's what I prefer. Back to you, Kevin. Thank you for holding that.
Pretty good, Carlos. Thank you for checking in. W0 get you listed here as Carlos instead of Sean. I don't think it'd be an island on the air because you're not a land mass sitting out in the middle of the water. You could probably go down as I guess you could start your own vessels on the air, but if you're just working AF, I bet if you sent out Marine Mobile, you'd probably get quite a few takers. Let us know how that goes for you, Carlos. Thanks for checking in. Paul, Big Springs, Texas, KC5ALH.
Comment.
All right, Kevin, KC5ALH. I did hear somebody key. Let me turn it back over and find out if you want to take that or do you want my check-in.
Yeah, I recognize the comment station, Paul, but let's go ahead and get these last two, and then we'll pick up the comment station. KC5ALH, go ahead, Paul.
All right, very good. We'll do it. Just making sure that the decision and control is with the net controller. So good evening to everyone on this net. Hopefully you're doing good. I won't be doing POTA this year, but I will be taking a summer vacation. I'll be on vacation and enjoying We're going up to Alaska this time, spend much of the summer up there. I do have family there, and I'll be going up there for a first time ever visit. I've never been to Alaska, so we plan on taking a tour of most of that, as much as you can do. There's a whole bunch of it that you can't hardly get there, but we're going to go as many places as I can get and cover it during this summer here. So I'll be in Alaska most of all of the summer. But nonetheless, POTA is definitely a lot of fun and a good idea, and I hope a lot of people can participate in that. Happy July birthday. Mine lands on a whole bunch of 7s somehow or the other. That's just the way it worked. So July, and then the day is also 7, and the year is 70. So a whole bunch of 7s. There's more 7s involved in my life, but I don't have time to tell you about all of them, and nor probably does a whole lot of people care. So, but I just find it interesting that everywhere I look, in many places throughout my life and things like that, there's 7s all over the place. So anyway, Kevin, I'll give it back over to you and wish you well, along with everyone on this net. It's a great day in Big Spring, Texas. KC5ALH.
Well, good luck on your Alaska travel. Thank you for checking in. And last on the list is Bob, and then we'll take the comment station. WG8PIC. Good evening, Bob. Are you planning on working POTA this summer?
No, I am not. I am not planning on working POTA. For the people that want to do it, that's fine, but I like to get on and make a contact and learn about the other person and tell the other people about myself and, you know, that kind of thing, and get to know the people. And my birthday is 10/19/1961. 10/19/61. So I could have checked in during the July to, what was it? I forget what it was, July to December, I think it was. But I wasn't sure if you were doing all, because I heard some 5s and whatever, and I didn't know if you were doing that number or if you were doing anywhere. And I don't like to check in, you know, in the wrong category if I can help it. About 50 degrees and rain. We've had tons of rain, and we're going to continue to have it for several more days with an east wind off of Lake Erie. I'm near just west of Toledo, Ohio. Totally blind, some other health issues, and I'm very thankful to be alive. 5 months premature and 1 pound back in 1961. Back to net control, WD8PIC.
Well, thanks for checking in, Bob. You got in right at just the right place, so glad to have you. And that comment station, I think that might have been Carlos. Go ahead.
Yeah, Kevin, thanks for taking my comment. Well, I was going to say, it's not Carlos is a name change. My name is Sean, but I live in a little area called Carlos, Texas. The zip code is Anderson because actually Carlos doesn't exist. But it's a little community, kind of small, but everybody that lives around this area calls it Carlos, and they're kind of proud of it. That's the reason I got the Carlos repeaters. I got my 2-ham repeaters called the Carlos repeaters here in Carlos, Texas. So not the name change, but just if be called by Carlos, Texas instead of Anderson, that'd be my appreciation. But other than that, call me by my QRZ. It doesn't bother me. I just thought I'd throw that out there. W0SVH, Sean in Carlos, Texas, Anderson.
All right, appreciate the correction, Sean. Yeah, we were going to put you down as Carlos to call you, but now I understand what you were saying. And we pull our locations from QR, which I believe in turn comes from the FCC. So to get your city changes on our list, you'd have to talk to the big man up there at the FCC. So we'll put you back to Sean, and thank you for checking in. And on behalf of the entire East Coast Reflector team, I'd like to thank all stations who participated and those who stood by to give us a clear reflector. This is Kilo Echo 7 Kilo, returning the East Coast Reflector to normal use. Good evening.